9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Happy Friday, everybody, and this is not a drill. This is your timeless elite, your PR princess, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me. It is Friday. It has been a very interesting week where we had a lot of cries, we had everything doing it, but we want to give you something that ends on a high note here at WWT Live. But I am not alone. I'm very excited to be with the boss in charge. You know who she is. She's our boss lady, Miss TK. How are you?
I am good. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. It's just been a very, very busy week with wrestling, and it's just going to continue to flux because we're almost into summer. It's going to be a busy summer.
Yeah, it just seems just like it's Friday the 13th as well, but it seems like just another day. I can't wait till my life gets to where it's like it's a Friday. Like, yay! It's not there yet. It's just not there yet. But eventually. But what are we getting into?
So we're just gonna kick off with some raw news because we actually got some breaking news right before we came on this show.
Mm-hmm.
General Manager Adam Pearce made a very big announcement regarding the final spot of the men's King of the Ring tournament. I know a lot of us here in WWT, even on kayfabe, we were making our predictions on who would take the last spot. But it's official from the general manager himself. He picked main event Jey Uso for the final spot in the King of the Ring tournament. And just wanted to get your quick thoughts on this because after we watched on Monday, he lost the title. And now he's getting an opportunity to be in the King of the Ring tournament.
I think this kind of speaks a lot to this. Like, you know, I'm having like more wrestling conversation. Shout out to producer from the future, Dylan and Isaac, long time AfterBuzz WWT fan. But yeah, I think it's one of those things that what I'm hearing from people is like the overall consensus is that he's great. The people love him, but holding the title for a lengthy period of time is just not in his future at the moment. And it looks like the Usos are going to come together as a tag team. So I feel like keeping him in the picture because he is so beloved by, the fans. This is a great idea. Will it, lead him back to the title? I don't think so. But I think people want to see him. Oh my gosh, it takes him 8 minutes to get to the ring. No shade. I love it. And it's like, I think the question I had in the Money in the Bank thing is like, when he comes down, do they already have the kids in position? And then when he runs back again, so like we're looking at like 8 to 12 minutes of him just doing an intro. Like no other wrestler is doing that. I don't even know if Seth touches that time. So it's just like I feel like it's deserving, but I don't think it's going to necessarily be fruitful. But I think he'll be in the picture in some way, shape, or form for at least the foreseeable future.
It was very a surprise when getting the announcement because I was actually looking through some of the comments when Adam Pearce made that announcement, and a lot of people were kind of upset that it wasn't Ron Killings or Karrion Kross, and also just thinking long-term story-wise because his dad Rikishi put out an article earlier slamming all the writers. He wants all the writers fired because of what Jay's reign came to an end, and here we are. He's now having the final spot at King of the Ring. I mean, will he win all the way? No. Do I see him kind of advance into the semifinals? Possibly. I would not be shocked if he did have to face one-on-one with Sami Zayn. If them two had to meet one-on-one, that could be a little bit of a nugget of Sami going heel. But that's going to be very interesting to see and very curious on what's going to happen Monday night on Raw. And it's going to be interesting because he's going to be facing off with a lot of behemoths. Bronson Reed, Ron Breakker, Sheamus. Yep. Those three.
Yeah, I feel like with you're talking about Ron Killings, I feel like there's something else for him. And I mean, yes, we would like to see him in that, but I think something else is coming.
Yes, it is. It is. And I'm just looking at the chat. Our fellow sister Honey saying, I love Jay, but I must be the only one who's not mad that he lost. We have to welcome losing as part of building the character. And let's be honest, Gunther was losing. Steve, you need to get the belt back.
Oh, I guess I didn't expect that from you, honey, but okay.
I
Okay.
mean, okay.
I mean, you're the honorary Oos or the sweetest Oos. I didn't expect that coming from you, but okay. Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Well, it is true. I mean, I'm very curious on what Jay's going to go, and maybe that's part of his character. I mean, he's going to get the title back sooner, but just going through this resurgence within King of the Ring, also leading up to SummerSlam, and just curious on where his story's going to lead because he has an interesting story.
Do you think he's going to get it back? Because I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like I almost feel like I feel like they're gonna run it back with. I feel like the Usos as a tag team are gonna run it back with New Day. I feel like the tag team division is kind of getting a little stale, and no matter how many times New Day and Usos get together, they always cook. So I don't know if getting. Like, I would like to, just like I would like to see Naomi part of the Samoan the bloodline. I mean, I like to see a lot of things. I just don't know if that's in the cards for him again. I think that you have a very well-known tag team. We now, not myself, but we now could tell the brothers apart, which is one of the goals for Roman Reigns that he said in his documentary. So it's just kind of like, yeah, I don't see it. Just like I see, like, I don't know if Naomi will be the women's world champion. She'll be a champion, but I don't know if she'll ever be the women's world champion. And y'all know I love Naomi, but it's kind of like, I'm not right. If I was writing it, a lot of things would happen. So I don't know if the title is back and is going to be for him. He'll always be in the picture, but I don't know if the title is going to be around his waist again.
Yeah, I think he'll be in the picture somewhat, some way, and just going through this questionable doubt. And maybe somewhere, if Roman does come back, he'll maybe give him that boost of confidence whenever Roman comes back, because maybe he could get some acknowledgement from him. But it's going to be a very interesting story Jay's going to have to share. And of course, you mentioned the Usos team together, because Raw's tag team division is a little bit in the depleting area. Mm-hmm. And also with that, too, because there's not that many tag teams. And also, SmackDown is cooking. SmackDown is really on fire with their tag teams, but we shall see on that. And yeah, Jace, Honey would faint if Roman comes back. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean,
oh wow, Dylan, that's a good one. Mr. Iguana has a better chance of getting the title than James.
Wow, man.
I mean, I don't want to say it, but sometimes it's kind of like, okay, what you want is not necessarily what you, if they gave us everything, like, so for instance, I'll my analogies have been kind of decent from Wednesday, but like, for instance, if your parents always gave you candy every time you wanted it, you'll have no teeth. So they can't give us what we want every single time. And so, it's, I get it.
Well, Jay's gonna have a lot to do, and very curious on how he's gonna do against 3 Bohemians on Monday night. But also another update regarding Monday Night Raw, because well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching if you watched kayfabe this past week, you kind of know what's happening, and you kind of know this. Goldberg is set to make his return on Monday Night Raw, and he's supposed to be in a program that's kind of been talked about since last year at their encounter at Bad Blood with Gunther. And this was first reported by Corey Hayes at bodyslam.net and later confirmed by PWI Insider. Goldberg will be in next week's episode, the June 16th episode of Monday Night Raw. PWI added that the plan for him is to appear regularly on the show in the weeks ahead, building towards WWE's Atlanta weekend of shows in July, and also the idea of Goldberg's long-awaited retirement match that will take place at Saturday night's main event in Atlanta on July 12th.
Yeah, wasn't that his wish? He wanted his son to see him wrestle. That was like the last time he was on, he said something. So I mean, go for it. I already know a lot of people are not happy, but again, it goes to I think now there was a point where I think in particularly Vince was doing things that Vince wanted to do that he thought was right. And now I think that there are a lot of people with the overall goal, and let's be honest, it's to make money. And it's the overall goal to make money and to satisfy certain individuals, right? And you know, even though a huge population that we know of might not like it, there's probably a huge population that will pay for this. Because I just don't see WWE doing something that's not going to make the money. The decision's always, how does this air on the side of green?
I think because with the fact it's in Goldberg's hometown of Atlanta, I get it. And, you know, on the other side, they want to do promotions of it. They want to promote it as like one of their marquee matchups that whole weekend. Because when you look at that, throughout that whole weekend, they're also competing with AEW all in Texas. And you also have Evolution the next day.
And they're competing with Beyonce. Let's not forget that.
Yes, that is true. So there's a lot of competition. They want to make money. And I feel like, you know, I was watching kayfabe yesterday. I know everybody's not too fond of Goldberg, with the exception of Dion, because Dion's a big Goldberg fan. But I'm just very curious on what's he going to do on Monday. I mean, I know they're going to have a stare down with each other. It's going to pick back up right where they had Bad Blood last year, but we shall see how this plans out. And yeah, Monday Night Raw seems to be getting a lot of updated things.
Well, they have to. They're on Netflix.
Yeah, they really
they need to hit that top 10 mark, because that's a thing.
That
and also speaking of Netflix, I'm gonna do a not so subtle plug for my homegirl. She has a show on Netflix called Sneaky Links. Go and watch it. Go and stream it. They're in top 10 2 weeks ago. They need to be back in top 10. So if you want to see some drama, Sneaky Links is. I was actually catching it. My dog actually watched the full season twice. I was actually watching it, and it's interesting. So you should go and check it out. So that's my ask for on a Friday the 13th.
Well, that is a nice plug-in, and yeah, they need the star power, they need the ratings, they need everything for Raw on Netflix. But we're just gonna jump right in from Raw to SmackDown, because SmackDown is tonight, continuing the road. Honey, I know you're in the chat, but
there will be a post show, so definitely check out Honey for that post show. Or watch along your post show.
Okay, just want to make sure to confirm. But you know, obviously tonight, SmackDown 8 p.m. on USA Tonight. And also, Nick Aldis said on the announcement yesterday, John Cena will be in the building. Very curious. We did see him on Monday. I'm very curious what he's got to say on tonight, and also what happened with Ron Killings after his promo. But we shall see in his incoming match with CM Punk. We're also going to see Miss Money in the Bank, Naomi, make an appearance. I'm very curious on what she's going to have to say regarding her win, if she's going to design her briefcase. So that there's a lot to handle, and can't wait for that. We're also going to have the start of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. For the women's side, we're going to have Chelsea Green versus Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte versus Candice LeRae. We're also going to have Jacob Fatu speak after what happened at Money in the Bank as well, pretty much leading up to Solo and Jacob for upcoming. And I think I have one more slide. Oh, the men's King of the Ring tournament. We have Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Andrade. And these are the matches that have been announced so far, courtesy of General Manager Nick Aldis. And is there a match in particular or a segment that you're looking forward to see tonight on SmackDown?
I mean, it's Naomi every day. I am interested to see what because it feels like John Cena always has something to say, because the countdown. It's kind of like we were just talking about Jay, where, you know, I don't see the title being on him, but I definitely see the tag team titles being on them sometime this year. But they also have, to me, and, you know, they might surprise us, they also have a couple more years to go, if not like another 10, just the way how they take care of themselves, etc. John Cena, we know there's an end date. So I'm always kind of curious as far as what he's going to say. And then also I know we talked about it. I can't remember if you mentioned it. Just how that pertains with Ron Killings as well. Like, where does that land? Because if he's not going to be in the King of the Ring picture, then where is he going to be? Like, we can't he's cut his hair for nothing. So I feel like we have to see what's going to go on with that too.
I'm very curious. I mean, outside of Naomi, of course, I'm very curious what John has to say. It's going to be very interesting. And also with the fact too, as I mentioned, with Ron Killings, because what direction are they going to go with since he's officially back? And he had to cut his signature dreads on Monday. So I'm very curious on what the next steps is going to be. Obviously, Queen of the Ring tournament on SmackDown. It's very interesting for this because I would make a case for all of them. I'm really happy to see Candice LeRae starting to get some in-ring action again. And also with the fact too, Charlotte and Alexa are now starting to develop a rivalry there. Obviously, Chelsea is going to be there. So it's going to be a very fun match for the ladies. I just can't put my finger on who I want to win.
I don't know. I have a feeling like Alexa. There's some ladies that I think that they are. They say ladies. I feel like some superstars have gotten to the point where they can leave and come back. Like, they can come back, do a stint, then they can leave again to do whatever, or they need a break or whatever. And I feel like Alexa is in that train, whether it may be another child or childcare or whatever. Like, I feel like she's kind of whatever her deal is, and I might be completely wrong, but I feel like if that's the case and she's not here for a long time, this is where Alexa comes into play.
Yeah, I would actually am going to pick Alexa for this one as well, because obviously Chelsea. I wouldn't be mad if it was Chelsea in it. I mean, obviously my poison little pixie Candice, I would love for her. And yes, Dylan, she is a dark horse. I would not underestimate that. And also happy to see her back in the ring. But it will be all this and more tonight on SmackDown. And you will be getting a Honey Night SmackDown watch along tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's going to be a fun one on the first SmackDown after Money in the Bank. And we also have some good news. Congratulations to Rob Van Dam and Katie Forbes. They announced that they were having their first child yesterday. And it was actually the cutest announcement that they made. It was actually announced last night on RVD's podcast, and he made an epic announcement. So want to send congratulations to them on their latest bundle of joy. And Boss Lady, you have any thoughts on Rob being a first-time dad?
I mean, I'm happy for them. We interviewed Katie. Was it this year or last year? I don't know. In the last 6 to 8 months. And I am all for people who, they made their business inside and outside the ring. She's doing something with Mike Tyson's boxing company. They have a marijuana but products and stuff like that. Like, they're doing it. This is kind of like how you'd want to do it. Like, the baby's going to come into a family that they've been married since 2001, was it, or 2011? But like, they're two people that love each other, so why not? I'm for it.
I'm very excited for the both of them, and it's the really cutest. They're calling themselves Baby Van Dam. I just love it, and really want to wish them the best of luck on their latest bundle of joy. And they're really going to be good parents.
There is. Shout out to Bailey and Jeffrey and Aaron in the chat as well for joining us, and as well Bosa. So yeah, it's good. We're anxious to see.
Yeah, anxious to see that. I want to give congratulations to the married and happy couple on their latest milestone. But we do have a lot of good news today, and Omos. And want to give a shout out to Gambling Industry News, because they broke the story that he has signed a contract extension and will be wrestling with the company for many more years to come. He really said it pretty much in a Q&A, and they broke out the news earlier today. And also a lot more talking about his successful stint in Japan and how do you find it over there since he's there right now. And also learning more about himself. learning about himself and Japanese wrestling in general when he's there. But definitely want to give a shout out to him on having that extension. And he's also been an ambassador. So this is really, really nice for him. And Boss Lady, just want to get your quick thoughts on this latest extension for Omos.
Yeah, it's actually a really great article interview. Yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen. They did a lot of things with him. Again, it just comes to storytelling. I could see him on any of the products that WWE has. It doesn't necessarily have to be main roster because there's just so many different things. Like, you know, you also have TNA as an option. There's so many different things that you can do with him. That it just really, it's for this one's really tricky. It's gonna be really up to storytelling and how they tell a story and how he's gonna remain relevant in the WWE universe.
Indeed, it's gonna be very interesting. And this was actually pretty funny because somebody was posting it all over socials. Oh yeah, honey, Omos versus Trick. That would be very interesting. And somebody was actually throwing it out on socials. They were saying, like, because I know for Seth Rollins, he does have his men there, but it's a possibility he may add another one. And also, would you think Omos would be a good addition to Seth Rollins' group with Paul Heyman?
I mean, for a short period of time, yeah. Why not? Like, I feel like this might be the entry. Like, if you don't have a story directly for him, plugging him into a faction and then having him turn or break away eventually. And could you imagine him putting Paul Heyman in a chokehold or Seth Rollins, like that visual alone? So I think if they don't have anything for him right now, then putting him in a faction would be a good option.
Yeah, indeed. I think that would be good for him. And also, like I said, congratulations to him on getting that extension. He's been doing incredible work over in Japan and being ambassador to WWE, and wish him for many, many years to come. But we do have a lot of good news. We have a lot of great news from all over the superstars. Ooh, Jade Cargill, as it said, courtesy of Deadline, she's going to be making her acting debut opposite Jonathan Majors in the action thriller True Threat. Deadline actually reported this. The movie is being produced by Alexis Garcia's Cat 5 with Charlemagne the God, along with many others. And Cargill is the second actor attached to the film following Majors, whose casting was announced by Deadline back in March. And her addition marks a step forward for the project, which is slated to begin production later this fall. And also, Boss Lady, because you do love Jade. And also, this has been an opportunity for her because since she's been here, she signed with Paradigm. She's been getting all these opportunities. And also with this latest one, what do you think of this?
I mean, she's always said that acting is her thing. If you go back into the WWT interview vault, I had a chance to interview her on the tour bus doing a music video for, oh my God, what is his name? I forgot his name. But it was in Los Angeles, and that's what it was just shortly after she left AEW. And that she said that was kind of one of her goals. And, you know, why not? She said that she wanted to, you know, play Storm, and to get into the Marvel universe, I feel you need some acting credits to essentially play that leading role. And why not? It's a lot of wrestlers are doing that. Charlotte Flair is doing that. Roman Reigns is doing that. Liv Morgan was just doing that. I mean, obviously we see Cena and Rock. I just saw Goldberg in this movie called The Last. Oh my gosh, it's with Pamela Anderson. The Last Showgirl. Oh my God, that was an interesting movie. So you just see so many wrestlers kind of making that jump, and it is quite. It's why not? They memorize promos. They do stuff on the fly, like, you know, playing heels or faces. That's all acting in itself. And then on top of that, adding the athletic prowess to it. Like, why not? So I honestly didn't see Jade being in the company like as a tenure. I mean, I definitely see her maybe going and coming back and making stints, but I don't see her being here for like in and out in the grind 10 years and stuff like that. It just didn't seem like her path. So this, you know, we'll see what it looks like. But congratulations to her.
Yeah, definitely wishing congratulations to Jade. I'm very happy for her, but of course the elephant in the room with Jonathan Majors, because this is not a knockoff to him, because I've been following like what's been happening, because of course he was in court because of his
Mhm.
ex-wife and a lot of other things and a lot of bad publicity that did follow. And also a lot of women came out because of the alleged assaults that he did. But hopefully,
Well, here's the thing.
it's
Here's the thing. Is Charlemagne the God and this production company, because this stuff is not cheap.
mhm.
If they are willing to put their name on the line and essentially possibly lose money, I think they do a risk analysis. And I think they did all that before they made the announcement, because it wasn't breaking news when they announced him in March. So, you know, I feel like it's not going to be, you know, you're going to have some people, just like some people still don't listen to Chris Brown or, you know, R. Kelly or whoever, but then you still have you have a bunch of people who do. So, you know, it's just, I think they did a risk analysis, especially when money is concerned, especially in this economy that we're in right now. Like, they can't afford to have a movie tank. So I think even though he's attached, they took that into account.
Yeah, so it's money talks, but definitely a good opportunity for Jade. Don't want to shade that away from her. But I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, I mean, you are going to have some people that still listen. I mean, we already know about the trial that's happening right now.
Yeah.
That's in discussion. So, but kudos to Jade. I get very excited when a lot of wrestlers branch out into acting and all these opportunities and just really branch out their rings. And that gets me very excited. But she's not the only person in the wrestling world that's taking up a storm. Trish Stratus, there was actually a report where she's going to be joining the cast of action comedy Karate Ghost. A press release was sent to Fightful that she's going to be joining the cast, and also the movie is in production in Canada and will be. And also a little fact too, it'll not only have Trish, but the film will have WWE host, backstage interviewer, and correspondent Kathy Kelly in the movie as well. So production is heating up. It's a heartfelt 90s inspired action comedy from director James Mark, with the addition of 3 comedy and fan favorite heavyweights: Trish Stratus, David Kocher from Anchorman in The Office, and Steve Howie. And also a little bit of Trish's character. She will be Susan Banchwa, an over enthusiastic pageant queen turned karate mom whose obsession with martial arts puts her daughter's dreams in a chokehold. Think of pom-pom welding Miss America with a black belt. That is her character, but it is currently filming in Toronto with the festival premiere and theatrical release slated for early 2026. Distribution is being handled by Blue Fox Entertainment Canada. US rights are currently available.
There it is.
Yeah. So I mean, thoughts on not only Trish Stratus but also Kathy Kelly being in the movie as well.
I mean, like I said, depending on their deals, it's good. It's good. Like, you're pretending for a check. Like, why you get to be creative? That's what wrestling is. So, you know, I really love the progression of Trish. Again, another interview you can check out in the WWT vaults. We interviewed her after she did a Christmas movie. That was hilarious because I had a lot of questions about this Christmas movie in a fun way. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I feel like if you do it right, you're on a platform such as WWE, to essentially segue that into something that there's some longevity. Whether you're with WWE for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, there's something else that's in the background, whether you take that money from the films and invest it or whatever, like, you're putting yourself in a really great position. So again, business wise, it's not just for businesses, it's also for people too, because everybody's a brand now. So yeah, I'm always Team Trish. I love the trajectory of her career. She went from wrestling to yoga to back to acting to hosting, like, and then to still be in such great shape to come back to the ring. Like, why not?
Trish has always been a favorite of mine, and just seeing the growth that she had, even when she first started, because we all knew she started off as a fitness model, then she
Mm-hmm.
transitioned to manager, and then early on in her wrestling career, she was taking on a little bit more of the mainstream buzz. She was on The Weakest Link. She was doing a lot of commercials with Soccer 2. She was on Mad TV.
Mm-hmm.
Even when her popularity was starting to be on the rise, she's still doing all this stuff. And even now to this day, as you mentioned, she has a yoga studio. She's still doing acting, and she still can kick butt in the ring. She still
Mm-hmm.
looks good, and she can still be a mom. So
Well, she still is a mom.
yes,
Still is a mom. That's
yes.
the shit. So yeah, I mean, kudos to her. I'm always, ballet, then wrestler, then yoga, then actress, then like so much more. And yes, you are right, Dylan. Kathy Kelly was an AfterBuzz host too. So AfterBuzz, producing a lot of great things. And if you haven't, I believe Evan T. Mackey restarted his wrestling show. So definitely go and check that out again. Another AfterBuzzer, wrestling brother of mine. So share the love, folks. Share the love.
We do. We want to wish not only Trish Stratus but Kathy Kelly on this adventure, and it does look like a fun movie, and I wouldn't mind seeing that, especially Trish's character. I wouldn't mind watching it.
Pageant queen to beating people up. You gotta love
Yeah,
it.
that is my jam, and we got a lot of wrestlers entering the mainstream now. A little bit of a buzz. So we know the Miz is going to be hosting American Gladiators.
Mm-hmm.
We know that it's going to be hosting that, and they actually just announced it that 5 pro wrestlers are going to be on American Gladiators, including these 2 from AEW, Wardlow and Camille,
Mm-hmm.
along with some other superstars. Also formerly known as WWE superstar Rick Boogs, he's going to be on it. We also have Jesse.
And GERARD, she is another WWE Vault interview, but she came out of Rikishi's school, Knox Pro. She's been in this girl. I'm not sorry. This girl, you need to go and look her up because her body. I saw her at oh my gosh, Pound Town Wrestling. And I saw her body. I'm like, oh my God, like who is this person? So, got to interview her, and I am just beyond. She's just really, you should watch her interview as far as how she got into wrestling and where she's taking it is just been amazing. So definitely go and check her out, follow her, show her some love.
Indeed. And even Beulah said it, agreed.
Yeah, Beulah said.
And also, we do have a former TNA star, Jessie Goddard, because she, like I said, she wrestled in TNA before. She's going to be doing that. And really happy to see a lot of wrestlers being in American Gladiators as a host by The Miz. And it's funny, Jeffrey, you mentioned this comment because there was also a story floating about this as well. Here's my take on this, because I don't think this is more on Tony Khan, because Tony always gets happy when anybody does opportunities. It's mostly within the executive office within AEW, which I don't know why, because if I was in American Gladiators, I mean, I get it. You're kind of in it with the other wrestling promotion, but also it does bring a lot of exposure to AEW, considering American Gladiators is a show that a lot of people are familiar with. They watch it with their families, and also seeing some of the other stars, and also many people actually started their career. So I'm very curious on watching this as well, but I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say petty, but let's just be supportive of all wrestlers from all wrestling promotions getting opportunities to stuff like this.
There it is. I mean, let's be supportive of people making money. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that part? Because the way the economy's set up, because these people are the more money people have, the more they can buy, the more they can, help society in a whole out. So let's just be happy that people are making money.
Yeah, and I'm just happy not only just for Wardlow and Camille. I'm happy for everybody. Like The Miz, he says it's his dream. He wanted to host American Gladiators, and here we are. He's been wanting to host that. So congratulations to all the participants for American Gladiators, and it's definitely going to be a fun one. I don't have a slide for this, but just a quick one regarding LFG, NXT, and TNA news. The season 2 trailer of LFG is officially out. It's officially out. It will make its debut on Sunday, June 22nd at 8 p.m. on A&E. And I did watch the trailer on social, and it looks pretty good. And if you notice, one of the new coaches is Michelle McCool.
Mm-hmm. And not Mickey James. Mickey James is no longer there, right?
Correct.
Well, I'm happy to see it. I need to watch. I remember when that news dropped, so I need to watch. I watched the first episode of episode 1. It was great. So I have more time now. Thank you, Jesus. So I have been watching different shows and stuff like that. So that is on my to watch list. So yeah, I'm eager to see it. And who knows? We might have enough time to have a watch along for it. We'll see how the summer progresses.
We shall see, but I'm very happy because season 1 looked I didn't watch all of season 1. I watched a few episodes, but I kind of want to rewatch it again because it did look pretty good. I was very happy to see a lot of the prospects, and you saw some familiar faces, but I'm very happy for them. I'm really curious for season 2 on who's going to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
So very congratulations on season 2. Obviously, congratulations to the trainers, and also the future's looking bright for all the prospective wrestlers.
Very true, very true.
And just a little bit regarding NXT, they're doing a live house show in Houston on July 27th. And also shout out to Fightful for tweeting this out today. This is just pretty much continuing for them because they've been doing live shows. They did one in Chicago, they did one in St. Louis, so they really are continuing to produce a lot of live shows that are outside of the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And just wanted to get your thoughts on this because NXT, they're now starting to pick up and be on the road doing live shows.
Well, it's good, right? Because they're doing that. WWE on a whole is doing less, are doing less live shows. So to have NXT do that to almost be like a filler. Not a filler, but like if you want to see live shows and there's not as many that WWE is putting out, but NXT is now kind of filling that. Again, it's money. Now you spend the money to see up and coming new people. They get their reps in front of live folks, and it makes sense because it's totally different from wrestling in front of 100 people to 1,000 people to the crazy numbers that WWE puts out for WrestleMania, etc. So kind of get those reps in front of people, in front of different audiences, everybody in different states, as I've noticed and seen. Like the crowd in the AEW crowd in Seattle is different from the WWE crowd in Toronto, is different from the AEW crowd in Texas. Like everybody is just every crowd is so different, every venue is so different, every state and country is so different. So to get used to that and get those reps, that's probably a good thing for them.
Yeah, and I think it's nice for them to really get their feet wet, really starting getting into these live shows. And also it gives an opportunity for them because not many people watch NXT.
Mm-hmm.
But it also gives them an opportunity, and that's why they kind of had to lean on to people like CM Punk for Chicago, Randy Orton for St. Louis. So I'm pretty sure they're going to lean on to Booker T, who is from Texas, to really bring in. And obviously, they're probably going to have on, and maybe they could bring in Roxanne Perez, who is also from Texas.
Mm-hmm. So many options. So many.
But very curious. Congratulations to NXT. They are cooking down in NXT as well. And make sure to watch our Councilman do his watch along on Tuesdays. If you need NXT, go to him. But we're jumping shift from NXT to TNA. Well, if you watched TNA last night, you know who returned it against all odds. Formerly
so
known
happy
as
for them.
Yes. Formerly known as the Iconics, they are now called the Inspiration. And last night, they made their successful in-ring return on TNA television. And also, Boss Lady, you did mention you are a huge fan of them. And also, this is really successful. And where do you see what's next for the Inspiration?
I find it funny now that kind of TNA and WWE are, they're courting. Does the Inspiration go back to being Iconics because technically they're kind of under the same brand? I don't know if it matters too much, but it's kind of more of a curiosity. But I loved it. And this is kind of again showing people, women in general, that you, and I'm saying this lightly, that you can almost have it all, because they went and they had their families and they came back to doing something that they loved and that they worked on for many years. So, you know, they found that balance, hopefully. You know, I don't know what their day-to-day is, but on the outside, it looks like that's what they did. So I'm happy for them. They're doing something that they want to do. And they're actually able to do it, because I'm sure there's other people who didn't necessarily have the opportunity.
Right. Oh, Dylan. I can't argue with him because he's from Australia, but shout outs to them. Shout outs to them. It was actually a surprise to see them, because when I was watching the clip on TNA socials when they returned, there was a huge pop that came in for them and no one expected it coming. Mm-hmm. And also seeing the clip that they had last night for TNA, it was very, very exciting. But I'm very curious of what's next for them. Also, that too, I'm sure they do have their eyes on the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships. I would love to see that. Also, I mean, this is just me, because this is wishful thinking. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them down the line. Maybe if Liv and Raquel come to NXT and they kind of come to NXT, I wouldn't mind seeing them take a shot at the women's tag team titles, but that's wishful thinking.
Oh, Dylan, you're funny. They're definitely memorable. And also, too, we do need more tag teams in WWE. So,
yes,
like legitimate. Remember, I think we had this conversation last week where we were talking about legitimate tag teams. They are legitimate. Like, you can't undeniably a tag team. So they're a legitimate tag team. Almost, I feel like where the women's tag team division is, it should just go across all brands. SmackDown, Raw, NXT, TNA, AAA, like, just because then we're going to actually have something going on. I just feel like we just don't have like legitimate women tag teams, enough of them on each brand. We have enough women, we just don't have enough tag teams.
That is true. And plus, it would be nice to at least, unfortunately, we may be getting the Bellas versus Liv and Raquel, but I actually wouldn't mind seeing these two gals show up on Evolution. I wouldn't mind seeing a lot of gals from TNA show up.
Yeah, very true.
But speaking of, because you mentioned tag teams and you mentioned women, I had to put this up regarding Mercedes Moné, a little bit of AEW news. This was actually a really interesting story that I actually popped up because, and this is in her latest, and this is not a joke, folks, in her Monet magazine newsletter that she puts out, she discussed the realization that her love for the sport itself, quote, growing up, WWE was everything to me. I never imagined my life without it, but over time, I've come to realize that it's not WWE I can't live without. It's pro wrestling itself. I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to the person who sparked this journey for me. Because of that pivotal moment, my life changed for the absolute better. And it's just going to give a quick highlight that she made her debut in AEW last year. And she also added in, not a day goes by that I don't feel grateful for that decision. It pushed me to new heights, matured me into a strong-willed CEO, and empowered me to take control of my life and future. I'm especially thankful for all the fans who have stood by me throughout this journey. That's what she said.
Okay.
I mean, any thoughts?
I think obviously we see, how long is her contract? Is it 3 years or 4 years?
Something like that, 3-4 years.
I mean, she's done a lot. I can't believe it feels like 2 years. She's done a lot in the year that she's been there. She's doing it her way. And why not? If you have the opportunity to do something you love and do it your way and call the shots and have creative control versus go somewhere where you can't, regardless if the audience agrees with her or not. Wouldn't you do that and then get paid a ridiculous, again, get paid a lot of money where she can now, help the economy. I guess you guys are sensing a theme here. Yeah, whether you hate her or love her or are lukewarm to her, she's doing what if she's truly happy, then yeah, go on, girl, live your best life. I'm happy for you.
I mean, you can't deny her wrestling ability, whether you like it or not. You really can't deny that everything that she's done. Can't deny that. I mean, she's getting paid, but she's doing it. She's getting paid for it. I mean, yeah, you could say she's solely carrying the AEW brand, but that's just me. I could name a few other people that are carrying the brand, but that's a conversation. But I will say,
yeah, do you think she's carrying the brand?
Not solely.
It depends on the circles you're talking.
Yeah, it depends, because for that it may look different. Like, people may be ambassadors to AEW, but it may not be on the same level she's looking at. Right. And maybe do something differently. But I think that's where I'm thinking of this too, and also with the fact too. I mean, I'm not even going to get into that with creative control. If she does, I mean, I would too if I have that kind of money and be the highest paid woman in professional wrestling. I mean, I would at least have some contributions. But, girl, you're living your life. I mean, you're doing the best. And Wednesday, you got a big match in Mexico. You're going to be probably collecting belt number 6. Yeah, it'll be belt number 6 if she wins.
There it is.
So, and also a fact there, she will be the first woman to wrestle in Madison Square Garden, Tokyo Dome, Wembley Stadium, and Arena Mexico. Can't deny her success.
Yeah, you can't take away those first. So, for the kudos to her for the vision. She definitely couldn't have done half of that stuff if she signed to WWE. Could you even imagine if she decided to go back to WWE in and around the same time Naomi did, where, like, we already obviously see where Naomi is, but where she would be in the placement. And in that case too, would that have changed the trajectory of where Naomi is currently? Because even though there's more space for women, it's no longer, we have one woman doing all these things. We have more women in WWE, but the storylines, there's only so many hours and so many storylines that we can carry, even if we break it up into quarters. So do you think that if she did go back to WWE, the trajectory of where a lot of women would be different?
It will be interesting to see, because she did play a huge role. It's just kind of figuring out, like, where would she fit, especially now, and also with the fact too, because I was telling them this in my watch along too, because I just realized this: the year she had with AEW, so far she has not had a serious injury. Because if you go back to WWE, they gave her a nickname called Botcha Banks, because she would always botch. She would always have an injury left and right. But I think now, and hopefully if she's at 100% and she's good to go, I could see her. It's just like, where could you fit her? Could you fit her like on Raw? Could you fit her on SmackDown in the belts? Or could you put her in a storyline? Or anything else? So it's just very curious on where she would lead. Or she could come back home to NXT. She can make like a surprise appearance in NXT and do an open challenge. Yeah.
Well, we have about 3-4 years before that ever happens. And then again, imagine the landscape of WWE at the time. If she were to come back, what would that look like? All the people coming up from Evolve and NXT, and just in general, the NIL pop, the pipeline, like the landscape of wrestling, if Mercedes were to come back at the end of her AEW contract, would be totally different. Like, it's totally, like, it's changed, like, from 2020 to now. Professor refers to them as like pandemic babies. Like, we had all these wrestlers, and particularly the women that came out, like, they were kind of not born out of the pandemic, but some of the jobs, whatever, you just had more time to do wrestling, and you have all these people coming up and coming into their own. What is that landscape that'll look like, and is there going to be a place for her legitimately. Like, I'm sure WWE can find a place for her, but would it be enough where she can actually have a storyline? Who knows?
And also with the fact too, she would be open to a lot more opportunities, mainstream wise, because you see some of the other stars we mentioned earlier, they're signed to Paradigm. Like we talked about Jade being in a movie. Liv Morgan just wrapped up hers.
Yeah.
Also, some of these other stars are getting opportunities as well. So she would fit right in.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens.
But like I said, next week she has a big match in AEW Grand Slam Mexico, where she will be taking on for the CMLL Championship. And there will be a lot more to come with that. But speaking of stars that are carrying the brand of AEW, Anthony Bowens, because he's been on the news a lot the last 2 weeks, and I actually do love this. Pretty much in the recent months, and even the last couple of years, he's been the unofficial ambassador for AEW, traveling all over the world to rep the company at various events and ceremonies. And in addition to that, he has done a ton of media, regularly taking part in interviews before the promotion's big event. While chatting with Hype TV in a recent interview, he spoke about his role, saying he wants to be like The Miz, quoting, "I enjoy it. I've always wanted to become someone, honestly, so like The Miz. He's a guy over there that does everything for WWE. He is at all these events. He proudly represents the company. And I always thought that was super cool. I want to be a company guy. I want to be somebody that they're proud of, aka the pride of pro wrestling, to send out and do these things because that's the ultimate trust. I'm representing the brand and they're saying, hey, go to Hollywood and represent us. Hey, go into the fitness space, go into the influencing space, go into sports and represent our brand. I think that's the ultimate trust in a performer. So I always hope to be that. I tell PR, if you need me for something, put me in there. I will go. You're paying me to work here, push me and put me in all of these spots. I'd be more than happy to do it."
There it is.
I mean, he's not wrong. Mercedes, take notes because he's been killing it brand wise. No shade against her, but he's been doing a lot more.
Like shade, but you know,
I mean, I don't want to do a lot of shading, but he's been carrying a lot on this brand. If I'm going to be very, very honest,
she said, "Mercedes, take notes."
I'm just saying because he's taking opportunities out of nothing. And he's been doing it the last couple of years. Like he's at the red carpets. He's posting on socials. He's pretty much doing it all and really putting in there. Him, Swerve. I will throw in Darby Allin because Darby, people don't know this, he does skateboarding. And he did an initiative with Tony Hawk. So that's another thing. And also, he was invited to go to a Seattle Seahawks game. I mean, sometimes you got to create opportunities out of nothing. And for me, this is the kind of stuff I want to see. And, you know, sometimes you want to bug your PR team, everything else, but sometimes it's always best to create opportunities out of nothing. And also, he starts breathing. Yes, Dylan, he's breathing. He is breathing. He's just, you know, keeping it low key. He's keeping it low key. But anyways, going back to my point, I just think, like I said, I think Tony gets happy when people represent the brand. He gets excited because he said this many times. Even if some of these stars in AEW, they mentioned they get so much high praise for Tony Khan. It's just the people around him within that executive office. Like Tony, he'll be happy. But hey, Anthony, everybody else in AEW, just create out of nothing. Even my old client, Tony Storm, she was at the TTM festival.
Oh, that makes sense. She should, going back to her character, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm really happy they are taking on these opportunities as well. But, you know, for me, this is the kind of stuff I want to see. So congratulations to Anthony. Congratulations on to some of the stars that are really pushing the brand. I mean, it may not do it publicly. It may not do it on the same level as everybody else, but I see them and I do it. I see them and I have eyes and I follow some of their socials. So they're killing it and they're doing it.
There it is.
And also, we just wrapped up all these stories really quickly. We just wrapped up all these, and this is our final one for AEW. This is actually a story that's been developing, allegedly, that's been floating around on socials for a bit. Pretty much the contracts for Private Party are supposed to be expiring soon. This has been something that's floating around, not just on Fightful, but also with wonderful Uncle Dave that's reporting it as well, because we have to give him credit. Just a little bit of a quick FYI. Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn of Private Party, they were one of the first tag teams signed by AEW in 2019, and they did hit a little bit of a speed bump when Mark Quinn was sidelined for over a year. They made their return in 2024, also dropping the titles, dropping them to the Hurt Syndicate. They haven't seen them since, but pretty much Uncle Dave said Private Party deals are very up soon. And it's just allegedly right now. It's kind of floating in the air. But yep, Jeffrey, quote unquote, allegedly. But Boss Lady, just wanted to get your thoughts on this. And do you think they should stay in AEW since they've been around since the beginning when they first started?
Man, who's left from the beginning? Because I remember when they were making those announcements, was it in Vegas? I think I remember Sunny Kiss was there, Brandy Rose, Cody, of course. Are they the last of the Mohicans, other than the ones who are like, gonna be lifers?
I want to say Orange Cassidy's still there because he was around from the beginning. I'm trying to think who else outside of the Young Bucks and Kenny, because the Lucha Brothers are not there.
Well, I mean, the wrestling space right now, and it really just depends on what you make of it and what you want, right? Allegedly with AEW, Shotzi I referenced this on Wednesday, and this was something that Shotzi referenced in her interview. AEW allows for more creative control, and it seems like it's a little bit of a lighter schedule, but the trade-off is that you're not at the top company. And is that something you want? That's something you don't want. The schedule a little more grueling if you're with WWE. With WWE, there's less creative control. And you might be at catering for 3 to 6 months. Are you okay with being the sixth man on the bench, or do you do the indie circuit where you're always grinding, but you make your own schedule, you can travel the world, etc. There's the world is kind of like and then there's also so many other things that you can piggyback off with social media and the right manager and agent, etc. So it really just depends on what you want to do and what they want to do. So with the contracts ending, there's just a lot of possibilities. If you, again, kind of going back to the money and security and safety, maybe AEW is the better bet compared to the other two options. But you're betting on yourself if you're hoping for if you haven't been in talks with WWE yet. So there is that too.
Yeah, I think for Zay and Quinn, because it really did suck, because they were one of the first teams, and actually the Young Bucks discovered them on socials. They discovered them on socials, and that's how they got into AEW, because a lot of people don't think about that. And they've been around since the beginning. Obviously, of course, they've had like some matches with the Lucha Brothers. They had it when Jack Perry was Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus were a tag team together. Mm-hmm. So they have put on matches. It's just really hard.
Oh, wait, Jack Perry, he's been there since the beginning too.
Yes, Jack Perry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jack Perry's still there. But it's very interesting because the tag team division was so fun. And also with the fact too, it's just like, where do they fit in? Because I know they tried to push him with Moxley and the Death Riders, and that didn't go over with the fans. As you would see when the Acclaim, they were over with the fans. They were completely over. So that was just kind of a little bit hard to do. And of course, they had to drop it to the Hurt Syndicate. We have not seen them since. I wouldn't mind, and I had a conversation with Marie yesterday on her podcast because we were talking a lot about AEW. I actually wouldn't mind seeing them go over to New Japan for a bit, because I've noticed there's many stars within AEW have never even set foot in New Japan at all, which is wild. And I would love for them to really see that and really continue that character development. I would actually like to see them continue on, because they are a staple in that tag team division, and also hopefully they can figure out some things after All In Texas, because I know, like I said, they have the Hurt Syndicate tag team champions. FTR just turned heel, and at this point, it's kind of shuffling around a bit because, of course, my clients, the Acclaimed, are split for now, but also you have other teams like the Outrunners, and I feel like almost every other team is with the Don Callis family. So I wouldn't mind seeing Private Party really get some growth in, getting some reps in New Japan. They have been doing it in the independent scene with House of Glory recently, because they were there when Mercedes was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't mind seeing them also, and just really just getting the reps in. I would love to see them. And also another fact that not many people knew about, actually Tony Khan offered to pay for them to go to college. And they said this in an interview too, and a lot of people don't know that. And
Tony Khan has done a lot for a lot of different people. There's things that I won't say that I know, but he's done, especially during that pandemic time, he's done a lot of things for a lot of different people. So, you know, and you know, I'm not gonna say end, period. So, you know, kudos to that. Yeah, now they have a college education. So what are you gonna do with it? Maybe some marketing for Tony Khan.
Yeah, so I really would like to see them. And also there's a tag team they have not faced off against the Acclaimed either. Because I remember in an interview that they did a couple of years ago, they said they never faced them. And also when they won the tag team titles, they were the only team that didn't even show up when they celebrated their win. So I still believe that's going to be on the table soon. But we'll watch this story develop and see where they go.
Jeffrey and Leo Rush and the other tag guys.
Action Andretti.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Y'all terrible. Oh y'all gonna say that in front of the PR princess? Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, some of them did admit they don't watch it on a weekly basis, which is okay.
It's hard. Like I sometimes I get to the week and I'm like, okay, I watched everything. I even include ROH, and then like I'm missing something, and it's always AEW. Like it's like just a mini checklist, and it's just yeah, to do it on a, kudos to the folks who do on a weekly basis, but as the running theme has been today, paying bills, and you know, just bills gotta get paid. So there we are.
I mean, you said it, bills gotta be paid. We got stuff to do.
Mama got a life to leave, Jody. Y'all don't know what that is, and you're just too young, and that makes me feel old. So yeah. But yeah, I think we're done, right?
Yeah, I mean, is there anything that I missed, or did I miss anything?
Is there anything that was missed? No, I think you got everything. Yeah. You got everything. There it is, folks. You definitely want to tune into 5 p.m. Pacific time to watch 5 p.m. Pacific time to watch Honey and the watch along, etc. But yeah, take it away, Courtney. How does everybody find you on such a phenomenal job today?
Yeah, well, I mean, the people can find me floating on socials, chirping sporadically on Women's Wrestling Talk Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Try to do as much as I can. You know, Wednesdays, it's timelessly elite. Don't listen to what said. He thinks he can hijack my watch along and say CEO Wednesdays. He ain't doing that. It's timeless elite Wednesday. So make sure to go back and watch the replay with me during 4 hours of Summer Blockbuster. And we're getting ready to go to Mexico next Wednesday, where they are back in 2 hours. And I'm very excited for that. But anyways, feel free to follow me on my socials at CourtneyNJ11, because we got some content happening. I got some content that I'm going to post, especially. Also, make sure to follow ISPW, because, as I said, I just wrapped up doing commentary for their all-women show a couple weeks ago. Also, trying to see if I can get content in, because I interviewed some of the ladies that wrestled on there. So that was really fun, really doing some one-on-one in the independent scene, because the independent scene is hot. It's hot right now. If you have not watched it, opportunity to do it this summer. And also, I stand by what I said. Dominic Mysterio is not the greatest IC champion. I stand by what I said.
Well then, Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of different things dropping. Paola Mayfield from WOW. We have an interview coming out with her next week. Yeah, more watch alongs to come. Our WOW watch along is every Tuesday. But yeah, you have our WOW watch along, we have our SmackDown watch along, we have our AEW watch along, we have our NXT watch along, Raw, and only more to come. So definitely keep it locked for that. You can follow me everywhere at TK Trinidad. And thank you guys. You can check out Women's Wrestling Talk on all social media platforms, www.talkpod.com. Thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao for now.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.